Hello, good evening, and welcome to the LFC Daytrippers Transfer Agenda Show. I'm your host, Keith Plunker, and I'm joined tonight by the Ayatollah of YNWA, Grizz Khan. How are you, my friend?
I'm good, man. I love that name you've given me. You know that. It's proper. That is a proper name. I tell you, that is some name.
I've came up with that myself. I'm proud of that one.
Not bad, not bad.
How are you, Grizz?
Yeah, good, man. Not too bad, not too bad.
Excellent.
Just rushed onto here. I was just on another show with Gav, as I was telling you guys. He stitched me up, but all's well that ends well. We're here now.
We got here in the end.
That's right.
And we're joined by Chris. Chris, you're more regular than I am here now. You're on every night. What's up? How are you?
No, I've got no life up here, have I? Really? Yeah. Was it 4 out of 5 nights now?
This is the life, Chris. This is the life. Don't ever say you haven't got life. This is the life.
This is all you need.
That's all I've got. It's all I've got. I've got nothing else.
Welcome to the club. Welcome to the club. And another welcome to the club. We've a new face on us tonight, Mr. Sam Adams. Sam, how are you?
Yeah, all good. Thank you very much. Yeah, nice result tonight. So just looking forward to talking about it.
Good stuff. It's Sam's fourth time coming on with us, and it's going to be a transfer agenda show, but the reality is we'll be looking a lot at the match tonight, as Sam just touched on there. It was a great result, a few good performances and a few maybe not so good performances, which we can sort of lead into with regards to how the squad's starting to shape up and who's impressing and who isn't. So we'll start talking about the match first, right? We'll get on to that. I'll come to you, Grizz. 7-2 against Lincoln. What did you make of it? What did you make of the team selection to start with?
Surprising, wasn't it? We went quite strong. Very surprised to see one of only 2 fit centre-back start and the best centre-back in the world on top of that. So that was a bit surprising. Very surprised to see who else was that? Yeah, Shaqiri come out of the blue. Grujic start. So yeah, even though it was a second string, it was a fairly strong second string, and some few surprising faces in there. But I guess it's what we discussed yesterday about attacking this competition and meaning it this time, as opposed to just saying it and then putting out a third 11. Well, yet today was very much proof and evidence that we will attack this bloody competition finally, and we've got the squad to do so. As it showed today, I thought it was fantastic. It was brilliant viewing.
It really was, Chris. So I'll come to you, as Grizz touched on there, that you spoke about last night about the squad depth that's there, that's developing now. And we saw a few people coming in that maybe we didn't expect to see, as Grizz touched on, Grujic and Shaqiri maybe. How do you think they played, and was there anyone else that stood out for you?
Yeah, I mean, out of the ones we probably didn't expect, I would say Shaq had the best performance out of the ones we wouldn't expect. You know, the thing with Shaq, it's not his ability that's a question. You know, the free kicks, you know, the space he can put on corners is brilliant. It's the problem with Shaq is he can't stay fit. Yeah. If he could stay fit, there wouldn't be talk of him going. He's a really good squad option. Grujic, I thought they played him as the 6. He did everything that you'd expect the 6 to do, but it was probably an ideal game for him because he didn't have a lot of defending to do. Kept it neat, kept it tidy. I think it will probably help him get a move, because realistically, he's never going to play 6 for Liverpool unless Henderson, Thiago, Firmino all don't play, which is pretty unlikely. But he did it well. Minamino and Jones were probably the 2 big standouts, I thought. Yeah, Jones, just every time I see him, he just slots in. I mean, when he's picked, I don't see him as a youngster. I see him as a first-team squad player. Whereas Nico Williams and Reece Williams, they look like kids. Elliott looks like a kid, and well, I mean they are because they're young, but they look like youngsters thrown in. Jones to me just looks like a first teamer. Minamino, I was pleased he got his goal. He did a very good Bobby Firmino impression, and it was really good. The probably only disappointments for me were Divock. Didn't happen for him. We keep saying it, but didn't happen for him. All he did was took his goal, did a set of a goal, but otherwise just ghosted the game. And Elliott didn't really happen for him, but he's 17. It's probably these sort of dips actually probably quite good for him to learn off. So they were probably the 2 biggest disappointments, I would say. But you won 7-2, so you can't really complain too much.
Very true, very true. I mean, it was a good win. It was a good use of the squad. Sam, what about yourself? Who stood out for you? Was there anyone else, or do you agree with the lads with the sort of standouts being Minamino and
I think Minamino was fantastic. He showed how versatile he is. I quite liked him dropping a bit deeper, picking the ball up and running with it. He really, really stood out for me. But for me, it was Curtis Jones. It was the Curtis Jones show. He was just... He's knocking on the door now. And what I found interesting about this game, it was a bit of a strange blend. You had some players who are probably going to get a move away from Liverpool this summer. The likes of Grizz, possibly Shaqiri. That was their shop window there. So that was kind of just making other teams aware, we're still around, we're still playing football. So it was their shop window to go out and impress. But it's also a really good opportunity for the youngsters to say, right, okay, we could be ready, to be knocking on the door like Curtis Jones did today. He looked like he was ready, and he's knocking on the door for first team football. I thought it was an interesting blend. It was an interesting blend.
It was different to other teams we've seen in the past, in the League Cup. Grizz will come back to you, for example. Like in years gone by, we've seen teams that there was probably 6 or 7 players that were maybe academy graduates or younger players, or deadwood, for want of a better word, and maybe 2 or 3 of the out of 5 or first teamers getting thrown in. I mentioned already, you guys touched on it last night about the squad depth that's in there, but it was excellent use of the squad by Klopp, wasn't it? Like there was players, as you have said, Grujic came in and done decent in there. Tsimikas, no one's mentioned. I thought Tsimikas had a good game on
I was just gonna mention him. I know you, and great minds and all that. We know me and you, but yeah, I thought Tsimikas, it was just an example of it's not so much the squad depth, it's the quality of the squad that's improved. Every team, every club aspires to have squad depth, but that doesn't mean much if the depth is not of quality. I thought the quality, and you could see the quality not only in the sort of the new guys in terms of Minamino, Tsimikas, but also the guys that sort of Jones and the Shaqiris that have been there on the peripheral, and they showed that, the coaching and the training sessions and that they've been involved in. I done a fantastic tweet, as you do.
You always do, Grizz. Which one was it?
As you do, the one about this is testimony to sort of our coaching and our training sessions. The intensity we played with. Every player knew his position. Normally, do you know how often we sort of pick these midweek teams, this League Cup teams, and it's disjointed. There's no rhythm, and we say, oh, it's to be expected. They've never played together. This team has probably trained together for so many sessions, barring obviously the new lads. But you could see the cohesiveness. It's all down to coaching, and that's what our management team in terms of Pep and Klopp are sort of known for. Every player knew the drill. Every player knew where to be. I know Chris said Minamino done a brilliant Bobby impersonation. I hate that comparison. We've talked about it. The reason why
Minamino tonight, though, wasn't he?
No, but no, he wasn't though, Chris, because Divock led the line. You see, this is the difference. I've been banging on about the formation. Divock didn't lead the line.
No, he played 4-3-3. He played Divock on the left. He played Minamino in the middle, and they showed. They showed in the stats later that he dropped to the middle.
We see what the chat says, what the majority think. I personally think Minamino was not as a 9. I think Minamino played in a 10, and that's his role, just behind the front man, with a man playing through the middle or across the line. And that's his role. I don't want him to be a Bobby replacement.
I don't want him to be.
Yeah, no, not you. I'm just generally saying I don't want him to be a Bobby replacement or anywhere near that sort of role, because you're taking away so much from his game. As Sam touched upon, Minamino's game is all about movement, collecting, turning and running at the player. Bobby's different. Bobby doesn't collect the ball and run at defenders. So that was a slight difference, but it was absolutely joyous to watch. And as you said, going back to your question, I know I've just segued a little bit, Keith, but you know how we do.
We don't mind the segue here, Grizz.
The quality of the squad depth is what's improving season in, season out, and that's what Klopp alluded to, that we've got the quality to attack this competition.
It seems like a bloodline as well with Liverpool at the minute. You see the young kids, and there seems to be like this kind of like bloodline of how Liverpool play. Like there's a real ethos, not just how, you know, Klopp's teams, but, you know, with the under-23s, the under-18s, these kids are coming in, you know, and they're you know, they're training with the likes of their Salahs, your Van Dijks, and all that, and you can see that they're trying their best to play their way. I mean, I was watching Simicast, you know, he was getting up and down the field. He was literally, he was passing the ball from one side to another. He was doing what Robbo was doing, and it's like, how long's this guy been at the club for? He just looks like
absolute clone of him. Yeah,
it's unbelievable. It was crazy. So yeah, it's that just seems like a real bloodline at the minute at Liverpool, which is good for the future.
It's an excellent point, Sam, and you're right. I mean, I know it's something that Klopp did sort of want to, when he first came to the club, he wanted that the under 15s would play the same as the first team. So if you're 14, 15, 13, you're learning how to play the way Klopp wants his teams to play, which makes a lot of sense, and you can really see that coming to fruition. I mean, everyone is saying about Curtis Jones, the confidence that lad has in just give me the ball, no matter where he is. He just wants the ball, he wants to play. He's a player that's come on leaps and bounds. And when you compare him to the likes of Ryan Brewster and Keanu Hoover, let's throw Keanu Hoover in here as well, a player who was recently sold and people are up in arms about, and Brewster could be the same. People say they never got that chance, and they mustn't have been.
They never took it.
They never took it, yeah. They mustn't have been doing it on the training pitch, and you see Jones is doing that. So Chris, what do you think of that? Do you think it's Jones is taking that opportunity, or what do you think is the difference there?
I think Jones has got the football arrogance and he's backed it up. I mean, if you look at the 2 goals he scored today, you get to a point now where you sort of go, that's a Curtis Jones goal. He comes to the left, drags it back and bends it, top corner. He did both of them tonight. He did very similar to the Everton game. That's becoming his finish, you know, whereas you kind of know what he's going to do. What I like about Jones is whenever we drop him in, he doesn't really need to take long to settle in. He picks up the rhythm of the game very quickly, which is an asset because, let's be fair to him, he's not going to play every week for Liverpool. He is going to be dropped in, and he seems to have that natural ability to drop in and adapt quite quickly. I don't think Brewster, when he has been dropped in, has done that. He wants to play as an out-and-out number 9, through the middle, you know, ball over the top. We don't play that way. And, you know, unfortunately for Bruce, it just hasn't worked out for him. I do think Bruce's biggest issue is possibly, I think we've developed quicker than he has, partly because of his injury. But I do wonder if something's gone on behind the scenes with Brewster and Klopp, because we were very high on him not so long ago. Now it's very quick just to cut dry, and people think it. Grizz has said it. I think I've said it. I think we've all said it. Is he's a happy, smiley guy, Klopp, but he always come back to the one line he started with players: is "I'll be your friend, I ain't your best friend," and he knows when he'll cut people away very, very quickly.
Yeah, you know, it's true.
This is Bruce's biggest kick up the arse now. Prove Klopp wrong. Good luck to him. But to me, he just doesn't.
I don't think he hasn't
quite done it. Yeah,
and that's it.
Also, remember,
it's not taking that chance. Go ahead,
Sorry, this is not like.
Sorry, go ahead.
How can I put this? Like Greenwood's getting a chance now for United. Different players, but United are in a different place where they're battling to get into the top 4, battling to trying to get into it. We're at the top now, so we don't want we haven't got the time to bloody youngster, let him develop, give him a couple of games, because we're now for the first time in a long time at the top and one at the top. It's actually easy to bloody youngster when you're on the way up, if you know what I mean.
Certainly a forward player.
Like, you know, Rashford only got the opportunity at United because they had to play him, and it wasn't Van Gaal's decision either. It was Nicky Butt. But with just going back to Green with Brewster, is he going to do the job the Mane does? Is he a inside forward? He isn't. He's a goal scorer. He is just a fox in the box. So he won't be able to do what Firmino does. You can't replace Brewster. You can't take Firmino out of that team because he's so important to the other two. And our defender's going to double up on Brewster if he does play out as an inside forward, which would they won't double up on him, which will probably give Robertson and Trent Alexander-Arnold less joy down the wide areas. I don't think people appreciate like how important Salah and Mane are to Alexander-Arnold and Robertson's success. Whereas if you threw Brewster in one of them positions, if the defenders wouldn't double up against him. So that's just my view on it anyway. He's just not the right fit for the way we are at the minute.
I think going forward. Go on, sorry,
Grizz.
The only slight sort of disappointment with Brewster is that he wasn't given a chance in this sort of new formation we may be looking into, because he'd be brilliant in the 4-2-3-1. You see, in my opinion, the 4-3-3, as you said, it doesn't fit. But that's my only slight disappointment, that we didn't give him a chance in this sort of formation. For example, let's replace Divock with Brewster today. Would we have seen a difference in performance, or I don't know?
Which makes you think someone's gone on in the background?
Yeah, I think so.
Or
I don't want to add to the speculation, but
or it could even be he's run out of patience and he says, "I want to play now." And which, look, there's nothing wrong with that, And perhaps he's decided at 20, I can't keep biding my time getting 4 or 5 games a season. I need to go out and play regularly, like he did at Swansea.
Yeah. Well,
so perhaps he decided I want to take the step down to come back up. If that's what he wants to do, fair play to him.
One of the things I've said about Brewster is I feel there's been a fallout with Klopp. I felt it was weird to send him out on loan during the run-in last season when he could have gained experience with us, and why didn't he? I think we fought tooth and nail to get him to sign a contract, and then the injury didn't help him. But I just think there's been a falling out there, and there's no great moves. If he's not doing it on the training pitch, whereas Curtis Jones is, it's a strange one, but it just doesn't make sense the way he hasn't been given a chance. I think it must be a training issue. But look, we'll move away from this for a second. One player who's getting lashed out in the comments tonight is Divock Origi. Now, Sam, I'll come to you here. What did you make of Divock's performance tonight? The way it impressed you? Feel he's being harshly treated, or do you feel like we've got all we can out of Divock at this stage, and the odd goal here and there isn't really going to paper over the wider cracks?
It's just typical Divock, isn't it? He plays pretty appallingly throughout the game and then bags a goal. That is Divock. Yeah. That's what he does all the time. He's not. I think we're treated at Liverpool at the moment. We've got such good players at the club. We are the best team on the planet at the minute. So when Divock comes in, he's a bit of a substandard, centre forward, mid range. We're kind of like, we probably give him more stick than he actually deserves. I mean, again, he's scored. That's it. That's what strikers are there to do. I know it's Lincoln City, but this is a common theme with Divock. He can play left, right, wherever, up front, lead the line. We can just be tearing our hair out at Divock Origi all game. Then 10 minutes later, he scores a goal. It was just for me. He's always going to get flack because he's that kind of player. But one thing he does do is he's always good for a goal, isn't he? So.
It's true, but as Jason is saying here, Origi didn't chase for the ball, just walked around the park for a vast majority of the time. And I think that's something that I feel can sort of go against Divock, is that he always looks quite languid and quite lazy. And the way Liverpool play, they're quite, busy and pressing. And Divock just never looks like he's putting that in. Now, maybe it's harsh. It's probably just you can't really help the way he carries himself. Maybe he does the work that Klopp is looking for him. But Sam was right there. He scored goals in big games. He scored big goals, but his performances are never great.
Not enough anymore, though. Is that enough? I mean, we're right at the top now, and to stay at the top, we need top players. And I think as much of a cult hero he is, for the big goals he scored, I think now is the time we need to say goodbye.
Well, that's what we'll move on to some of the exits in a few minutes. Sorry, Chris, what were you saying?
I think he's just a new Dexy Lovren. I think everyone's just sick of him. Right, whether you like that or not, I think he's got to that point where you'd see it on the fan places. As soon as Lovren was picked, everyone went, now it's Divock's the latest one, because he's one of the few left of the old regime, and I think people just have had enough of him. Plus, to be honest, I think we've just outgrown him, and it does happen. I think if he moves on, he'll go somewhere else. He'll probably do quite well. Yeah,
he could do. Maybe not in England. I think he could do okay in England, but I could see him doing damage in Serie A or something. It's a slower league, maybe.
More so, you're talking about his sort of work rate and everything. I think it's his instincts that sort of frustrate us.
Yeah,
he hasn't got the instincts of a striker that sort of we'd like, and that's the frustrating part. I think more than his work rate, he does put a shift in.
Yeah, but like I said, it's probably just he doesn't look like he's putting it in, that way, and people are like, as Chris said, it's him again, not Divock, and it could be getting to that stage. As Bob Paddock says there, Lovren would enter every top side in the Premier League, Grizz, and that could be it. We just get sick of these guys and look for any old excuse. So before we move on to sort of transfer news, I'm going to be honest, folks, all the listeners, there's not much of it, but we can talk about some of the stuff. Out of goals tonight, that's my dishwasher going there in the back, just to let that finish. Out of goals tonight, what stood out? What was your favourite? What did you think was the best, or were you impressed with all of them? Sam, will come to you first.
I think Taki's first was just fantastic. But for me, the best goal was Jones's. It was second. It was the first touch. The touch was it was better than the finish. Actually, I know it got a slight defection, and again, the first goal was similar as well. The touch again, sublime finish, but it's his touch. Jones. Both of Jones's goals for me were well, they were all good goals, to be fair, weren't they? They were top finishes, but yeah, if you put a gun to my head, I'd probably say Jones's second.
Yeah. Excellent. And Chris, what about yourself? What was your pick of the goals?
I like Shaq's. I do like somebody who pings a free kick, just kisses the bottom of the bar.
Yeah.
I do quite like that. It was a
little caress.
I do quite like that. I like that as a goal. So I'd probably say Shaq's. It's probably not the best goal, but aesthetically, it's probably the best goal.
Yeah, it was a good free kick, wasn't it?
Yeah,
he's quite good at hitting them, isn't he? And he's never on the pitch, I know, but it's a weapon when he is there. That if Trent is now over all the frees, and you see Mo standing over a few of them, and Mo's free kick technique isn't great, but Shaq's is, and he's another weapon if he played games. Yeah, just a bit. Grizz, what about yourself? What was your favourite?
That could be Thiago as well.
That's very true. Very true.
I like Curtis's finish. I think he's made that trademark. I think Sam touched upon it. He's made it his trademark finish, but you still got to do it. You still got to execute it. And I just love the way he doesn't blast it. He kind of caresses it always sort of into the corner.
Yeah.
And it doesn't seem as though he's put much effort into it, but it's going at some pace from his instep. And, I just love the way he's growing as a Liverpool player. So the Curtis Jones, was it his first one? The one that without the deflection, even though
without the deflection was the first. Yeah.
So even the one with the deflection, the build-up play from himself sort of was lovely. The way he takes it on the turn, runs at them, and then finds a space. But the one that Divock lays into him, the much lamented Divock, lays into him, and then he makes that trademark finish. I thought it was a wonderful finish.
And it was a heck of a ball as well, wasn't it, from Williams?
Well, yeah, we haven't even sort of touched upon the young lad. Yeah, is he Welsh as well, like yourself, Sam?
Yeah.
Goodness me, you know what? I don't think he is. I thought,
is he? Reece Williams, a very Welsh name.
The Welsh-sounding name, but
yeah.
Who is it?
But he done okay.
Yes, so I don't think he is. I should know that.
Yeah, you think you should know that.
He did. Yeah, he did have a good game. He did have a good game, actually. So
now that we know
he was born in Preston.
Now we know he is.
If he's a Welsh international, it's not by birth.
Okay.
But he could be. I just see he was born in Preston, so maybe he's English. But look, they were all great goals. I loved Taki's second one because it was an awkward finish. It was an awkward one to take, and I thought he finished it well. But we could have picked any of them, really. You know what I mean? It was a good haul for the lads tonight. Plenty of action. But look, we'll move away from the game itself. Grizz, I want to come to you. Do you see any of them players moving on the next few days that were involved tonight?
I'd expect loads of movement, but this is it. They had a chance to shine, and they did. Obviously, it's very evident that Brewster's off because he wasn't involved.
Yeah.
Wilson, did we say, because I didn't catch the last 15, 20 minutes, he didn't come on?
He didn't come on
No. He brought Keita off the last 15.
So we know from reports in the media that they're very close to sort of sealing moves away to Sheffield United and Burnley, respectively, apparently, even though I know a few teams are in for Wilson. So Burnley's not, as far as I knew, Burnley weren't the most advanced, but it came out yesterday that Burnley are. So definitely them two. After that, take your pick from Grizz, Shaq, Divock. It's intriguing what's going to happen in the last sort of however long's left. You'd expect these guys to sort of be on the move, but maybe Klopp sees something in them that's changed his mind and thinking, right, we need a big squad depth, and maybe the quality showed today. But to be honest with you, I personally believe that Shaq and Grizz will be moved on.
Yeah, I think they have to for the quota of non-homegrown players now at this stage. It's no good moving on. Brewster, he's not counting against that quota. And I know we banged on about that, and people are probably sick of listening to us banging on about that. But it is a thing, and we can't register all these players. So it will be interesting to see what happens. Barry Devaney's thrown in there that Phillips is on the verge of joining Bristol City. I mean, yeah, good. Nat Phillips, he's done decent whenever he's played for us. Good move for him if he does go to Bristol, and he can make a good career for himself. He's not at the standard that we need, but certainly championship level would be good. From Dylan O'Rourke is thrown in there about LaRouche. Haven't heard anything about him. Have you heard anything?
I think a couple of teams in France. I think Reims.
Marseille were looking at him at one stage as well.
Yeah, he has had quite a lot of interest. He's from what I've seen anyway from reports. So.
I forgot about him, to
Yeah, I forgot about him as well. Like it's mad. There's so many of these players there.
Huge squad at the minute. It's I think that's going to be the focus now, is getting people out the door. And I wouldn't be surprised to see one more come in now.
We'll get to that. Don't worry, Sam. We'll get to that in a minute. You just kill that jet there.
He knows this game. He knows the game.
Nah, look, it's one of these things that there's going to be movement out. We know there's going to be movement out, and I think the team's selection tonight and the performances maybe did throw it a bit. Grujic, I thought, had a good game there, and if it was a shop window, I don't think he done himself any harm, and we may see teams maybe not based off one game. I know some teams are quite reactive like that, and you might say it, but he looks, Maverick is saying there, Grujic seems to have grown again. He does look huge, you know what I mean? He looks like he's got all the tools. Ramiz Khalil is saying we're forgetting Karius. You never forget Karius. But I don't think Karius, he'll be, I think, just loaned out. I have a feeling we won't even get an offer for him. Grizz could say to me I'm wrong, but we'd be hard pressed to get decent money for him.
I think we'll still get a couple of million for him at the end. That's what the plan is for sort of German teams looking at him. They know he's literally not even third, fourth choice. So someone will give us 2.5 million for him, 2 million for him, and we'll have to accept it near the end of the window.
And is that what it is now? It's just a case of we're hoping to get a decent wage for them. We're not getting those offers. We're saying, look, then we'll keep them, and come the end of it, we'll just say, look, cut our losses and move them all out, because it has to happen. As far as links in, right, Grizz, is there anything new, or are we still? Do you still think we're going to bring in a forward? Put it that way.
I don't think we're going to bring in a forward unless we get the sales that we're looking for, but we're not getting them, and it's getting too late. I did hear of an attempt at a loan to buy, but I won't mention the name quite yet. But I did hear of that, but I don't think that's going to progress. It was an ambitious attempt. Let's
It's not
just say.
Kylian Mbappe, is it?
No. We will touch upon that on the next maybe a couple of shows. But no, I think the priority, as we all know, as we all agree, is just sales. Get as much money as we can, and then maybe sort of see if we can pick up a bargain. As we said, clubs will be desperate, including us. We will get desperate near the end in terms of we'll accept the bids, and we will look to be clever. We will look to be smart. We'll look to be astute in the market and see if we can sort of pay about 2 million for a player that's worth 30 million, as we do. But yeah, the main focus, as far as I know, is just to sell, and not as far as I know, as everyone knows, it's just to sell. And then I think, as Sam says, we may look at it again, literally in the last couple of days of the window, and see if we can just pick off a young centre back that may come in handy later on in the season.
It's an interesting one, Sam. I'll come to you. The centre back issue that's there. We've seen Fabinho come in again and do the second half alongside Reece Williams, and I think Klopp was asked about it after the game, and he didn't give too much away. But do you think we'll look to sign a centre back in this window, or do you feel that we will go with what we have and use Fabinho when needed?
I think, just my personal opinion, I think we'll wait till another window, and I've just got a feeling we'll go in for that Ben White of Leeds, not Leeds, Brighton.
Yeah.
He's homegrown. We've got a quota to fulfill. I think Klopp has looked at him. I think Liverpool have looked at him as well. But he signed a new deal at Brighton. I think the world we're living in at the minute, the financial side of it, we didn't have the money to get White. We had other priorities, and I think we'll just wait till maybe next summer and go in for White, or maybe even Ben Godfrey or someone like that. That's just my feeling.
It is an interesting one, because I think that's it. We know there's a tax nearly that goes on to players just by being homegrown, by being English players. And I think now we're going to get caught in the sense that we need to get some of these guys in. So, Chris, do you think that could be a case of, let's say Ben White next summer? I think we've spoke at length about Ben White on these shows, that he's an excellent player and he's one we would like to see. But Sam brings in a Ben Godfrey into the equation there. Do you think we could go for a centre-back of that ilk, of that quality, of that standing, and put them in? Or would you rather see a Fabinho playing there? Like, if Virgil went down tomorrow, and I'm touching every single bit of wood that's around me, and we had let's say Ben Godfrey, and I'm not, Ben Godfrey's a good player, but if we were to bring him in, would you rather see Fabinho or Ben Godfrey stepping in there?
I'd like to have the option of both, because at the moment, God forbid that what you said does happen, we've got Fabinho.
Don't even mention it again.
We've got Fabinho. We've probably got a centre-back partnership with Fabinho and Henderson, because Joe Gomez's injury record is better than it has been, but Matip, don't know when he'll appear. They said 4 weeks. I've heard that before with Matip, 4 weeks. It ends up being 8. So Fabinho is our third choice centre-back. He's not our fourth choice. He's our third choice. And based on the last 2 seasons, he's going to have to play 15 games probably at centre-back. He can play there. I don't think it's ideal though. But I don't think we're going to buy centre back till next summer.
I think Matip. I think the state of Matip will be assessed and looked into. I know we've said, or Klopp said, and sort of it's been reported that it's 4 weeks, but I think they're going to have a really close look at him and see the situation, see if this injury or if it's persistent or if it's something different. And I think that may sway our mind. Into whether we sort of go into the market, because we literally, if it's something that's persistent with him, then we won't take a risk and not get a centre back, in my opinion. But it's You know, so I think the situation with Matip's injury will be very, very closely scrutinized in the next week or two.
We've got a super chat in there from Stephen Broughton. Grizz, you're the best. Thanks for everything. Grizz, is that you doing super chats again?
That's my twin brother. Ignore the name.
But no, look, it is nice. It's nice to hear that.
Thank you. Appreciate that, Stephen.
Yeah, cheers. Nice one, Stephen. We appreciate that. Grizz does his best for us, as all the lads do. You know, it's
absolutely
there's a group of us on. There's 4 of us here tonight. There's a few lads that are regular that aren't here tonight, and there's lads that are coming on board like Sam. You know, there's more. There was Anthony the other night, and Pete was on with us. You know, we're trying to build our group of contributors, and we feel they're all, you know, really excellent. But Grizz is the Ayatollah, so we'll let him have the
no, absolutely. It's an absolute team effort, and it's absolutely brilliant to sort of make a team and build a team. And who best to sort of learn from, or sort of try to make a team in the image of Liverpool and Jurgen Klopp. You know, we're trying to get a little team together. And well, you know, I forgot to welcome Sam in front of everyone, but yeah, welcome aboard, Sam. It's a journey you won't forget, I'll tell you that.
Nah, that's part of
it. Let's see, DSE UK or another super chat. Would we have bought Thiago and Jota if fans news had happened before we got the players in? I don't really get that one. Do you know what that one?
Oh, it's talk now that you might not get fans of the stadium until March.
Oh yeah. I get it now. Nice one, Chris.
Yeah,
I'd say that bit. They must know that. They must know there's a chance of that, mustn't there? Like that, it was ambitious getting them in. They wouldn't have laid out a lot of money like that, which it wasn't a lot up front, I suppose, but they would have known there was a chance that the fans wouldn't be back in. So it's a strange one, you know.
I mean, it's not the FSG way, but if they had to, they could get. There probably are facilities for them to get a loan in to cover running of the club short term.
Yeah.
I know it's not their way, and I know it's not their way, but you know they could. They probably can and could do that if things get tight. So it's not as big. It's not as big as issue for us as lower down the pyramid. You know, League 1, League 2 sides is probably where you've got your biggest worries.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I completely agree with that. You'll see. I've touched wood, it doesn't happen, but you know, if it carries on the way it is, you'll see a lot of teams, unfortunately,
struggling. Yeah.
It's something my wife actually said tonight. You know, with Lincoln, the shame. You know, there's no fans in there.
Massive shame.
When you get Liverpool, you know, and they miss out on that. And I don't know if there's a share of TV money, maybe Liverpool hand up. I don't know. I'm not trying to put Liverpool on a perch, but I don't know if there's any deals around that, you know, that the Premier League clubs might give more of the TV share to the small teams. Because at the end of the day, it is needed, you know what I mean? It really is to help them survive. But it's interesting there what DSE UK says, you know, I'd like to think Liverpool weren't caught on the hop with the news that the fans won't be coming back in. I'd like to think that they have every eventuality sort of looked at and every contingency in place.
Covered.
Yeah,
exactly what Chris said. We know we've got options in terms of a loan to access, in terms of, I mean, nobody knew, unless maybe some people did, but nobody knew suddenly suddenly the fans won't be allowed in because everyone was looking near the end of the year. But the thing and the beauty of our board and our owners are, you know, they have, I hate to say it, but they usually have every eventuality covered. You know, they're so well run that, you know, there is options sort of to put in place in case of emergencies such as this kind of thing. So, you know, I don't think they're panicking now suddenly that there's no fans going to be allowed in. I think they'll have all eventualities covered and plans in place for A, B, and C.
It also makes you quite grateful as well that we got such sensible owners as well. I know FSG have had so much stick from people, especially early on in the window, saying that we're not going to sign anyone or this and the other and whatnot. But the way
trust me, Sam. We dealt with those fans. We educated them.
Yeah, I had to use the block button quite a few times.
Oh yeah,
getting a bit heated. But no, I think they've done a mega job, and I'll stand by it. We're sustainable FC, and I wouldn't have any other way.
Yeah, it's very true. I mean, I think it was Avi put in, don't rule out the naming rights for the stadium or one of the stands or the training complex, I suppose. Liverpool will look for a way that they can, get into cash injection if they really need it, and there's talk of investment as well, the Billy Bean sort of investment. So I think Liverpool will be one of the lucky ones in the sense that, right, the no fans is impacting the revenues, but I don't think it will sort of damage us as much as it could damage others. You know what I mean? So hopefully not. And anyway, the links that came out there the other day, and we spoke about them. I know, Chris, you were on the other night. We were talking about the Sarr link that came back and won't go away. Is it one that you can see happening? I mean, I've thought about it, and I really can't see that one really happening at this stage. It's not one I can see in any way, shape, or form. Do you think it's going to happen, or do you think it was just a report that came out of nowhere? The Sarr link.
The Sarr link. If it's going to happen, it's going to be a deadline day if we get everybody out, and the dealers are comfortable. That's the only way I can see Sarr happening. Also, it's how desperate Watford get, because they wanted silly money, wasn't it? Close to 50 million they wanted.
Yeah. For
a lad who's had 1 year in the Premier League. But it's a bit on the optimistic side, shall we say. So I think if it is going to happen, it's going to happen very late in the window. But I don't know. I'd like to think one more will come in, but if it is, it's going to come in quite late.
Yeah, I mean, the window closes on the 6th of October, but isn't there an extension for clubs within England can still do business till the 16th or something like that? So if they were to go, does that extra little bit of time? Now, I don't know. I mean, it came from France Football. I don't know how realistic it is, but the more I'm thinking about it now, I don't know if there's going to be another one. Maybe I'm just flip-flopping on it, and I thought there might have been one, and now I'm thinking there probably won't. But the Sarr links, the Dembele links, the Jonathan David was linked, and I thought he only moved recently. We're seeing him linked. Jeremy Doku, Patson Daka. There's a lot of players that are still getting mentioned for them forward positions. Yeah. Is it going to be something, or is it one for down the line? I'll come to you, Sam. Let's say we spoke the other night about on our show with me and Chris about Jeremy Doku coming in and possibly going back on loan to Anderlecht. Is that one you could see happening where we're making the investment but we're not bringing the player in?
I really hope so, because I really like him. I like Patson Daka as well. Actually, Patson Daka, I really, really, really like. Just if we could do something like that, it would make a lot of sense. For me, it's quite interesting because obviously we've had the Dembele links, which was, I don't know if there was any bid submitted or whatnot, but that was a loan with an obligation to buy or something like that, I read. So then that got rejected apparently, and then we looked to Sarr. And to be fair, they're very similar kind of players, aren't they? They're both reasonably tall for being, wingers. They can play both sides. They run with the ball really well. They're pacey. They both have a bit of an issue with finishing, but that's not really a problem. But they're both very, very similar players. So it's clear. I think it's quite clear what Klopp's after, because the players that are getting linked are quite similar kind of players. So I would say I've got a sneaky suspicion we might get Sarr. I don't know why, just a hunch. I've just got a sneaky suspicion.
Yeah,
very sneaky suspicion, and I hope I'm right.
Good stuff. We've another super chat there, Grizz. You getting a bit more love tonight. Again, DSC UK. Have to say how well Grizz and Gav did on the football terrace tonight compared to the Chelsea kids. Proper fan chat without the tat. Love the LFC Daytripper shows. You have a good night there tonight, did you?
It was decent. We kept
stuff.
our dignity. We kept our class.
That's
representing
what we like to see.
LFC. Yeah, we represented LFC Daytrippers really well.
Excellent.
It was
That's
good
what
fun.
we like to see. That's what we want, branching out there. But again, Grizz getting the love. It's we get used to it over here, the attention that the big man gets. But what can we say? We appreciate it. And anyway, all the nice compliments that we get, it's all goes part of the team. So if Grizz gets a compliment, I take the compliment. That's how we work it.
Absolutely.
Avi says that there's big things coming financially. Avi always does these little teasers, but I like it. I don't mind the little teaser. I think Avi might be talking about sponsorship of some sort after throwing out about the stadium rights and all that. And look, it could well happen. Could well happen. Let me see. Is there any more in here?
I think you missed another super chat. Ramiz Khalil says, think we have enough centre-back cover to go on all fronts, ?
Right, Chris, I'll let you go with that. What do you think? I know you were saying earlier that you wouldn't mind having the option, but do you think if it was to go now, are we okay?
It feels like we're one light. Because I feel like if you get anything out of Matip this year, it's a bonus.
It's the Matip scenario, isn't it, Chris?
Yeah, it's the Matip. It's basically, it's not really it's not the Gomez one, because Gomez gets thrown in with it, but he's got a niggle, and before that he didn't miss that much last year with injuries, really. Yeah. So
Gomez is back to full training tomorrow, so that should be fine. It's the Matip scenario that sort of bugs most people. Yeah. Matip is very much like the Shaqiri situation.
Yeah,
where we know his class. Yeah. We know he's very, very good. He's absolute and able LFC player when he's fit. But the situation is exactly the same. Shaqiri, Matip, both just getting on the pitch is a problem. And I think that's why I said we'll sell as much as we can, raise as much as we can financially, and then I think we're going to hold back on the forward for a very, very good reason. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. And I think that's why we'd rather, if we can strike a deal, it'll probably be for a centre-back.
I'd prefer that to another forward. As much as everyone likes forwards because they're just more excited. I think practically for the squad, I think if you had another centre for the squad, I think you've probably got enough options there and cover.
Yeah, but do you think part of Klopp's thinking, keeping Wijnaldum or Wijnaldum staying, is the fact that he will put Fabinho there?
Yeah, that's absolutely. We've discussed this at length, and then that's exactly one of the points that we made. I think that was very crucial in terms of how he was going to sort of go about either bringing in a centre back or another forward. I don't think we were ever going to do both. I think it was one or the other. Again, dependent on sales. Now, I know that's frustrating, but it's just the way it is, especially, again, they've probably proven right again with no fans coming in until whatever, So, again, foresight from the owners, knowing that there's going to be no income from attendances. So they've been very clever. They've been very smart and done bits of business that's needed, but also not going OTT with the spending. We'll probably recoup most of it with the sales, but then we'll have a bit of a kitty to see if we can strike a deal. If not, there's absolutely no panic from my side anyway. I think we're absolutely fine. You guys, obviously Sam wasn't on the show, but Chris and Keith know the situation about me and Fabinho. I think he's a ready-made born centre-back for us. Yeah. But, we won't get into that again.
We had a good discussion about that, didn't we? It was good.
Yeah.
Looks like there's another super chat here for you as well, Grizz. A bit higher up from Sib. He wants to know is Grizz going to tell us this mystery striker? I think I know the answer. But...
No, not yet. Sorry, I know you've paid paid money into the account. I'm so sorry, but I just can't say it yet.
Oh, that's full. That's full.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, maybe next show. Maybe next show.
maybe next show, maybe that's it. So come back, you know, and who's it? Same. Come back and just demand an answer off him the next time. Just say, look.
Or message me on Twitter. I'll DM you. That's the safe way these days.
Probably haven't blocked. In fairness,
true.
It's you know, it's the Grizz can't wait. But yeah, it's Sam. What do you think? A lot of people are mentioning Ben White. You've mentioned Ben White yourself. Could you see Liverpool? We've spoke constantly on this show that we think there'll be a centre back in the 10 to 15 million range category coming in. Do you think they're looking at it now and saying, right, we know Fabinho can do that job. Let's hope for it. And if it takes 40 million to get Ben White next summer, we do that. Is that what you think they'll do with this centre back?
Absolutely. That's absolutely what I think. I think we're just going to wait next year, go for Ben White. And as you say, like Matip's always injured. It's just, you know, it's just one of them. And I just think Gomez needs the competition. He really, really needs the competition. He needs to not get too comfortable. I think Gomez gets better when he's got a challenge. And
it's a very good point. Like, it's a very good point. You know, no one doubts the talent of Gomez.
Yeah.
It's the focus of Gomez that needs to improve, that we need to work on. And how we get that focus is by competition. So he stays on his sort of A game all the time. I think that's the key to getting the best out of Gomez, as opposed to sort of saying he's rubbish or he's brilliant and put him out of the team, put him in the team. As long as that competition he knows is nearby, he'll stay focused. And that's the biggest weakness in Gomez's game, the focus.
I completely agree with that. I completely agree with that.
He makes mistakes through lack of focus and concentration, as opposed to talent or raw ability, as was the case with Degsy. You know, he just didn't have the pace, for example, to keep up with someone, or someone was too smart and clever for him. Whereas Gomez has got all that in his game. It's just his own focus that needs to improve, and healthy competition. We say healthy because Matip's not healthy. Yeah. Matip's brilliant in competition for him. He's just not healthy. Do you know what I mean? So that's the problem.
I bet Comentio will be he'll be another year old, and they'll all be another year older as well. So that'll be, you know, he'll have a year in his locker of, you know, training with the first team.
Yeah, they're speaking quite highly of him, aren't they? So,
but I think we should just disregard him for 2 years at least. You know, you know.
We've an old favourite here, Alistair, thrown in an old chestnut here, LFC linked with Koulibaly by France Football. It's not happening. You know,
I'll tell you the situation with Koulibaly. What's happened was, and this is not, this is information based as opposed to sort of, you know, when I give sort of information based or my opinion. The Koulibaly links comes from totally his agent. He's literally whoring him out to us and other clubs, and that's where the information comes from. We assessed it very early, and it wasn't for us, but his agent his agent is sort of saying we can do a deal, and that's where the rumors are coming from. But you know, Koulibaly won't happen now. We did look at it. It was sort of considered. When I say considered, sort of because the agent was offering him to us, you look into sort of see if you can do a deal. But there's no chance of a deal with Koulibaly. It's just his agent playing games with the media.
I heard an excellent point about Koulibaly, about Napoli in general, that Aurelio De Laurentiis has a habit of putting ridiculous prices on his players to frighten off the advances or to get top dollar. And he done it again this summer with Koulibaly, and he's had to backtrack because they actually are desperate for cash now. And I think there was an issue with Man City. Yeah, Owen Burks put a comment in there. Man City and Napoli don't communicate after the Jorginho deal. That's what I was going to say. There was a falling out there, and City don't want to talk to Napoli, so they're going through an intermediary for him. So I think Napoli as well are getting desperate, and are trying to hawk him around to anyone that'll take him. Now, it looks like it's Man City and PSG that are linked for Koulibaly, and I think it's going to be
PSG
one of them.
all over that now.
Yeah,
it sounds like it feels like a PSG sign, that another big name, big transfer fee.
Well, they've got to replace PSG. They've got to replace Silva with someone of the same ilk caliber, and Koulibaly fits the bill. You know, I wouldn't be too upset if he went to City, because I don't know how they would balance Laporte, Ake, and Koulibaly in the same team.
Yeah,
but that's Man City for you. But you're right, PSG all over. It does sound like a PSG deal for me.
It does. Another name that's getting thrown in an awful lot, and it was thrown in there, the youngs, what's the Sevilla French kid like, Jules Koundé. He's a good player, getting linked with Man City as well, isn't he? And he's one of this new crop of French young players that have sort of come through in the last few years. Man City and Real Madrid, I think, are linked very strongly with him. We haven't been linked at all, have we?
No, we haven't. We've been linked with his partner, Diego Carlos.
Yeah.
Before this was, but this was before COVID.
Yeah.
We were very interested, actually. But obviously COVID absolutely killed that plan and idea. And I think we've sort of done well to avoid him, because every time I've seen him, he's been sort of.
He's awful every time I've seen him.
Very erratic, yeah.
Yeah, it's like a young Deja.
Yeah, he is actually very, very degsy. He is. There's my mate Dylan thrown in there, lads. What's the dates for the 2 Arsenal fixtures? So we're playing them on Monday night in the league. When is the League Cup game? Is it Thursday?
Thursday, yeah.
Thursday.
Yeah.
There you go, Dill. You can take that Monday and Thursday.
I mean, that'll be interesting, because now we know we can field 2 teams basically for the Monday. Will Arsenal be able to do that? So that's interesting. Will Arsenal be able to change the amount of players we can with the same quality?
Yeah, very interesting.
Interesting if Arsenal go a bit stronger in the League Cup, because they might see that as an opportunity.
Very true, very true. It's in, Arteta is, I think we spoke the other night about Arsenal are building something there, and they're a team that do actually interest me. I know Gav has had a pop at them and I've agreed with them. They've been terribly run over the last few years, but they look like they're trying to get their act together. But they're still a central midfielder short, in my opinion. They need a big sign in there, don't they?
Yeah, you feel for Arteta they've got a plan, which I'll be honest, you've not said about Arsenal for a long time, but you do feel that they've got a plan. I mean, for a fact, he's bought 2 centre-backs, and they've been asking for a centre-back for forever. At least when they've signed Gabriel, you've gone, well, that looks like what they need, a centre back, a decent centre back, not David Luiz, or Mustafi, So
currently, I'd say
got a way to go.
Currently, I'd say we'd made easily the best signing of the summer in Thiago, and we all know that. We will appreciate that. But if Arsenal manage to pull off Hossamoa,
that'll be God,
brilliant.
And Partey, I'll be gutted. I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna lie and beat around
more
the bush.
so Partey, I think.
Would you talk about them being challengers then? It's a big
So
call.
I wouldn't say challenges to us, but for sure, top 4.
Yeah, I agree.
Which is what they need now. If they're really going to kick on to want to be a challenger, they need regular Champions League football, and they need the money from it. Pretty much like us, probably 5 years ago. Without that regular Champions League position, people aren't interested.
Yeah. Grizz, Krishna Agarwal is looking for Thiago news.
Yeah, not long now. Not long
imminent.
now. Yeah,
no
imminent.
interest. No interest.
Yeah, no interest. But now, I was surprised Thiago didn't get a slight run out today. I thought he may have got another 20, 30 minutes in his leg, just for rhythm purposes, not so for anything else. But, it seems as though Hendo's sort of 50-50 for Monday, so that's why he was probably held back completely, and Gini.
Yeah. I suppose is he going to benefit too much from a run out of Lincoln?
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
Yeah, they might do a load of shape work with him and possession work with him on training pitches, maybe. Plus, no Milner didn't help really either. I know it's only a slight niggle, but again,
absolutely.
I don't think that helped. I think that helped as well, because you don't know if Klopp's quite serious. He might have gone, I'll give Milner Arsenal, and again bring Thiago off the bench to again build him into it. But if Milner's got a slight doubt, Hens got a slight doubt, he's probably thinking, I need to protect Thiago, because him and Wijnaldum and Keita is probably on their field.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. I mean, Klopp's done it with quite a lot of his signings. He doesn't just throw them in there. With quite a lot of them, he just gradually, feeds them in, slowly and surely. And
I think Thiago is the exception to the rule, though. That rule.
Yeah, I think he could be.
They might be a little bit thingy about that. I'm not sure. I think for the first month he might just get slowly.
I think Linders touched on that, didn't he, in his press conference? He said, Thiago's a wonderful player. but he has to get used to how we operate, and we have to get used to how he plays as well. I know he's brilliant, but it's a complex. It's not just dropping someone in. Before anyone wants to smash that like button, you know what to do. Little thumbs up. It helps us out greatly. We hate asking, but it's key when you're doing these YouTube channels that we get as many likes as we can. So if anybody's in there that hasn't hit like, we'd appreciate it if you just hit it there before we finish up. Dylan's back again there. He thought Jota looked fairly average tonight, certainly not.
Oh God! Someone needs to tell Clay. Go on, Keith. I'll let you.
He's my mate. Dylan's me mate. Yeah. Dylan's me mate. But listen, it's an unusual one because he's only signed the other day, and I think it's just going to take a bit of time just to get into the same way Thiago's going to take time, Jota's going to take time. And again, touching on Pep Linder's press conference, you know, when he's saying that they went for Jota because Jota is a pressing machine, that was music to my ears. That's what I love to hear about a forward coming into our team. I think it give him time and he'll come good. It's like Minamino. I think we're starting to see the best of Minamino now, that he could be an option, and Jota could turn into that in a much quicker time frame, I even think, because he's sort of Premier League ready. Look, I think we'll leave it there, lads. We've gone over the hour. It's been a great show. Thanks to everyone for interacting. Thanks to everyone for joining in. As usual, the chat has been brilliant, and we've had loads of good quality content. I know the transfer stuff is quiet at the moment, and if there's any news, we will bring it to you going forward. But you know, it was a quiet time. We've done our main business, and it'll just be interesting to see what rumours come up between now and the 6th of October. But look, we'll leave it there. Sam, thanks very much for joining us tonight, and for the first time, we'll get you back on again soon.
Cool. Happy days. Thank you.
Good stuff. Chris, you'll probably be doing 2 shows tomorrow at this, right, will you?
Probably, yeah. Great debut, Sam.
That's it. Yeah, well done, Sam.
Cheers. Thanks a lot.
Grizz candy, toilet of in the Noah.
Nice one, pal.
If we keep saying it, it'll stick. It's a bit of a mouthful, but you know, why not?
Tweet that out. That's got legs.
That has legs.
You know what? I might do that actually.
You might do. Listen, I'll leave it there, folks. Listen, we've been the LFC Daytrippers. This has been the Transfer Agenda, half a Transfer Agenda show. And we'll be back again tomorrow. I think Gav will be back for another show. So we'll talk to you all then. Hold on.